Evening, people. Welcome to the Brews at 10 on my left eye. I'm your host, Lefty. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight. Let us know how you're doing in the chat. Eddie, great to see you. Welcome back. Thanks a lot for the coffees as well. Great help for keeping me caffeinated. I'm a coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon and evening kind of guy. But thanks a lot for helping keep me perked up in the morning. Great to see you again. So here we are on Tuesday. Another day of political campaigning and a few bits of news to dive into. Just going to give it a couple of minutes while people join the stream. In the meantime, whether you're watching live or on a replay, please do hit that thumbs up button to help the stream reach a wider audience. And also, feel free to join us in the chat. You need to be subscribed to do so, but after you're subscribed, after you smash the subscribe button, 60 seconds later, you can add your comments and questions in the chat. I'll try and keep my eye on those as we go through today's news stories. The Tories have launched the manifesto. That's going to be one of the first things I'll be taking a look at on tonight's Brews at 10. As well as more things getting lobbed at Nigel Farage. I guess when the milkshake thing happened, I did ask for more stories like that, and I guess I got that wish was granted. So we'll be taking a look at that as well. Wolfpet, welcome to the chat. Even if you can't stay long tonight, great to see you. And yeah, by all means, catch up tomorrow night. It's great to see you this evening, even if it'll only be briefly. So there's a few more stories as well. Got to keep our eye on the hot seats. There've been some revelations there. Starmer's also had his response to the Tory manifesto being released. I'll be taking a look at that as well as a few other stories. So thanks to everyone this evening for being here. Just a quick reminder that super chats are open. If you need to get my urgent attention in the chat, or if you're watching on a replay, please do consider using a super thanks. Like Hedy, who's recently kept me caffeinated, you could also visit the Buy Me a Coffee page. Check out the link in the description of the video or the channel, the stream or the channel, I should say. Thanks again for those. That's a great way of showing solidarity. And also you might consider becoming a member, as our fellow chatters are as well. That's just 99p, some great perks if you want to hit the button and check those out. Now then, what do you think of the updated, I don't know if you noticed the updated introduction sort of jingle thing? Won't go into that too much. Apparently, some of the samples I used before were apparently forbidden, but I'm looking into that. I've put an appeal in for that. I've just had to sort of change it up a bit slightly. So we'll see how this goes this evening. Yeah, Wolfpack, I hope that you're right there. That he'll get a few more things lobbed at him before this is over. It's been milkshakes so far. I think so. It's been described as an object. Anyway, we'll go into that story very shortly. Just want to quickly cheer myself up again with that Penny Mordaunt solo clapper clip from yesterday, from anybody watching on the replay or live who didn't see this yesterday. It's just I could watch Penny Mordaunt suffer all day. It's the facial expression at the end. She knows that they're done.
We will cut your taxes, we will protect your pension, and we will defend this nation for a more secure future, vote Conservative.
Oh, if you could just sum it up in one clip, that'd definitely be a nominee. Right, let's get on with some recent stories and whatnot, clips to come, and a few other bits and pieces as well. Right, I'll just quickly go over a couple of headlines. We'll dive into some stories. This obviously is a breaking story in the last few hours about President Biden's son, Hunter, being found guilty on 3 gun charges. I won't go into the heavy details of this. My basic understanding, my rudimentary understanding of the situation is that he was purchasing a revolver and in doing so neglected to declare that he was actually a drug addict, apparently. That is against federal law in the United States, and this is the first time that a serving president has had one of their children arrested. So that's just quite interesting. That's pretty much the ins and outs of it. Obviously, elections coming up in the USA as well. Trump has had his recent convictions, but whether this will hinder Biden, who knows? It's very arguable that despite Trump being convicted, that might actually solidify his fan base even further. But that's all I'll say about that for now. The Tory manifesto has come out, and I think we had a drum roll at the start, but no suspense broken in revealing that it's pretty crap, to say the least. Yeah, it's just the usual dross. He's talking about cutting taxes. This is, of course, after the Tories have put them up. They put national insurance up as well, despite what they're saying now about cutting national insurance. They said in 2019 that they wouldn't do that, and I think that promise lasted just shy of 2 years. So we'll just have a quick dive into some of the details. Won't subject you to the video of that just now. It's flags all round, of course. As always, flags all round. Not just for Sunak. Was subjected to a speech by Rachel Reeves earlier, where she was surrounded by flags as well. Wasn't great. Do have to admit it wasn't great. It wasn't the best. There you go, that's a picture of the aforementioned Reeves statement as well. Just quickly on the subject of Reeves and Labour, they've brought out a new policy today, even though they haven't released the manifesto. They're sort of drip feeding policies to try and whet people's appetite, as it were. I'm not sure how effective that's been, but they've said that they're going to impose a ban on sales of energy drinks to under 16-year-olds. I don't know if that's to try and counter Sunak's stance on tobacco. So again, they just harped on about taxes. They will harp on about immigration. There's been a lot less mentioned of the obviously phony drummed up war on woke thus far from Sunak directly. I thought he would have started to be a bit more visceral about that now. That's just a picture of Ed Davey with a dog. Going to be talking about the Lib Dems a little bit more later on, actually. I mentioned they released their manifesto yesterday. But also Lib Dems are going to come into something else that is a sort of semi-new feature on the channel, alongside hot seats, some hot questions that we have to ask ourselves about the next election, and Lib Dems are going to be featuring in that. So for some reason, Douglas Ross was tagging along. Obviously, he announced he's going to be stepping down yesterday. This is all just lame duck stuff for him. There was a TV debate in Scotland this evening, of course. And this should be like shooting fish in a barrel for Starmer in response to this like really piss weak effort from Sunak and the Tories with the manifesto. But let's say that his response has been less than admirable. Just skimming through just a couple more bits about the article. There's Todd Face again. There's a clip actually of the throwing of the object. Let's just have a quick sneaky peek at that now while we're here. Why the devil not? Right, yeah. Talk a little bit more about that shortly. Just a couple more bits about this Tory manifesto before we move on to that. Apparently, he said very little about the NHS, and quite rightly so. The Tories' record on NHS is absolutely abysmal, as we all know. They tried to tell us how much money they say that they're putting in to the NHS, but it's been cuts all the way. So they've got their three-part slogan again. They've just thrown some words back into the COVID machine, and out it spat. Clear plan, bold action, secure future. There's only so many iterations of the same few words that they can fit into these three-part slogans that they always seem to churn out. And therein is the latest. They're describing it as insufficiently bold, grabby, game-changey, his conservative critics whisper, when a game changer is so desperately needed, even if possible. They kidding themselves if they think they've got any sort of sniff of a chance. So apparently, I mean, we remember Sunak claiming Labour put the tax up by 2000, as this article is reminding us here, but Labour have come back and almost done the same thing themselves, claiming that it'll put £4,800 on people's mortgages if the Conservatives win the next election. And it's based on Labour assumptions about what Tory policies would cost and raise. It's just doing the same thing and pointing at each other and criticising each other, doing the same thing. That's all Starmer wants to do. That's his only strategy here, really. Yeah, and this the money's not there thing. It works both ways. Labour are pretending that they're promising so much, but as soon as obviously the Tories are talking out their arse when they say that they're going to, you know, improve people's lives with whatever policy they're not going to come through on. But using the money's not there. And the double flags again. But they're making the same promises, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. As expected. I mean, were we expecting anything less when the Tories were about to release the manifesto? Probably not. Right, just on to just a bit more about this this stuff being lobbed at Farage. How many times is this going to happen between now and the election? A good few, I dare say. Saw a little bit of the footage just there. So he was in Barnsley. He was in Barnsley. Apparently, one of the objects was a takeaway cup. The guy got arrested. You saw that in the clip. The guy with the red top. But then he immediately comes out and says that he won't be bullied or cowed by a violent left-wing mob. Prick. No, it's the right wing that are the mob. We saw those scenes recently at the cenotaph, etc. This is one guy who's obviously, had enough. It won't be the last time he gets stuff thrown at him either. Stand up to racism protesters were there as well. This guy wasn't part of that group. That's how I understand the situation to be. But just while we're on that, they bring up reminding us about the milkshake incident at the end of the article there. And I've not had any further confirmatory information about whether that was a set-up or not. It was pointed out that it appeared to be the same person who threw the milkshake was pictured with Farage at rallies and other such things. Take care, Wolfpack. See you next time. So yeah, there he is. Well, that looks like a takeaway cup. So I said said Keith had a response to the Tory manifesto, which wasn't exactly inspirational, and I think it's actually far, far worse than that. We all know the facts about him undermining the previous leader of the opposition, but this is something else. So, first of all, I want to take you back to 2019 and the last time that Labour had their manifesto launch, what Starmer was saying to the press at the time.
So here we are at Euston Station, just about 7 o'clock in the morning, about to get a train to meet the rest of the Shadow Cabinet and Jeremy Corbyn in Birmingham to launch our manifesto. I think in this election, what I'm hearing is people really want change. They want to end the inequality that they see. They just want decency and dignity. And that's what this manifesto is about. Real change, ambitious change, and ambition to meet the needs. Please have a read of it and vote Labour.
Well, it was all about the manifesto there, wasn't he? I've seen this clip a few times, obviously. One thing that keeps going through my mind is that as he's saying these words, he knows full well what he's doing. He was going through with his plans to undermine Corbyn at the time of the recording of this video. But he has the bare face to look into the camera and say that. But the veil's been lifted now. He's been revealed as a careerist, obviously. So, here we are in 2024, coming up to the next election. And this is what Keith has got to say about the Tory manifesto. He accuses Sunak of a Jeremy Corbyn-style manifesto. The barefaced cheek of it, how revealing is this? I mean, it's all there now. If you need to know what Starmer's been up to since he joined the Labour Party, then look no further than this. It's all purely for his own career. So let's just
the
hear from
Conservatives
Keith.
are going to pledge another 2p off national insurance. If you get into power, will you match it?
Look, the money's not there for the Tories' desperation, and what they're producing is a recipe for 5 more years of chaos. And I think that's why it's so important that we see this election as a choice, because we can't go on.
If he does win, you're going to be hearing the money's not there a lot more from this man. And he's already started to use the usual Tory shtick of, the let me be clears and this and that and the D word, the deliver word.
On like this, we need to turn the page, rebuild, start with Labour. We've got 6 first steps that are ready to go on July the 5th. Get on with the job, roll our sleeves up. So that's the choice for the country now.
So just to follow up on that, they say that you will be putting up taxes, not cutting them. Is that correct? No tax cuts from you?
We have been absolutely clear that all our plans are fully costed, fully funded. We will not be increasing income tax, national insurance or VAT, so no tax increases for working people. None of our plans require tax rises. But this is coming from the party that's put tax to the highest level since, for 70 years. And they're building this sort of Jeremy Corbyn-style manifesto where anything you want can go in it. None of it is costed. It's a recipe for more of the same.
The Conservatives are going to pledge...
Could you believe that? Can you believe that?
One can go in it. None of since, for 70 years, and they're building this sort of Jeremy Corbyn style manifesto where anything you want can go in it. None of it is costed. It's a recipe for more of the same.
What a twat. Yeah. So that manifesto was no good, was it then? In 2019, Keith? Is that why you said this when you were trying to become leader?
Jeremy Corbyn made our party the party of anti-austerity, and he was right to do so. The party that would fight cuts to public services. He made us the party that wanted to invest more heavily in our public services, and he was right to do so. And we must retain that. We build on that. We don't trash it as we go forward. We should treat, if you like, the 2017 manifesto as our foundational document. The radicalism and the hope that that inspired across the country was real. Anybody who knocked on a door in that elections knows it was real. So we have to hang on to that. Jeremy
Quite the
Corbyn
difference.
made our party the party of anti-austerity, and he was right to do so.
What more can you say? What more can you say? It's all there in the open, and this is why there's a lot of reason. Well, this is one of the many reasons, I should say, that I cannot vote for this man. No way, not a cat in hell's chance. Not any more than I'd vote for the Tories or Lib Dem. There you go. And we've got to take neoliberal Labour on just as much as we do the Tories. I'm sure that you'll all agree. This is happening, obviously, hopefully, coming in just a few weeks' time. Some of the seats where Keith could see an upset. Quite a few of which I'm really hoping he does. Some of the hot seats. Just gonna quickly go over a couple of updates on some of these. And also yesterday I mentioned a potential new one up in North Durham, which is the first thing I want to talk about, because yesterday we touched on the issue of perhaps votes being split a little bit, but got sort of sidetracked with other topics. I just want to talk a little bit about that further. So the Green Party, excuse me, just getting a brew. The Green Party and the Workers' Party of Britain have put out a lot of candidates, and I'm not too sure if in some of the seats where we could see grassroots and independents or the Greens making gains, that could split the vote there and upset things. It's it's an outlying concern at the moment, but North Durham in particular, just because it could be one of the potential hot seats coming up. So you have Sunny Moon shots for the Green Party. This is the seat that Luke Akehurst has been parachuted in to stand for Labour. He's from Oxford, by the way. Luke Akehurst. If you've not caught up with yesterday's, please do so, as well as other content here on My Left Eye. So, also for Workers' Party of Britain, there's Chris Bradburn, and he's released a bit of a campaign video. Let's have a bit of a look at that. But this is an example, because for me, if there are too many socialist or left candidates, then I think that could dilute the potency of people's voting power, i.e. against the Tories and Labour combined in these seats. So we'll have a look at the clip and then let me know what you think about this.
My name's Chris Bradburn and I'm standing for the candidacy of North Durham on behalf of the Workers' Party of Britain. I'm here at Causey Arch, one of the most beautiful places in our area, but I need help. Labour has parachuted in Luke Akehurst as a candidate because they think that this is a safe seat. I need your help to show them that that is not the case, that we will not accept extremists in North Durham, that the working class has a voice and that we will fight to be represented by people who understand us. Now, I need your help. There are 74,000 people in this area. I can't reach them all by myself. I'm trying, but I just can't. You can help by going to my candidate webpage. You can volunteer your time, an hour, 2 hours, an evening, whatever you can give to help me keep Durham North away from people from Oxford who do not represent us is the right thing to do. You can go to my candidate page. You can follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. You can get in touch with me on Facebook. We can organise and we can go out and show the people of North Durham that there is a voice for regular people here.
Okay, so that's Chris Bradburn's campaign video. And I think perhaps a lot of left-leaning people could be stuck between a choice, between Sonny Moonshot and Chris Bradburn. But let me know what you think. I think this could happen in a few seats. In terms of securing votes, I would say that probably the Greens have done that more than a lot of the Workers' Party of Britain candidates or some of the independents, purely, by reputation. They've been around a lot longer, etc. People are more familiar with the name, but also, as I've said before, a lot of people are concerned about the climate crisis. But as long as this obviously doesn't split the vote too much, it's good to see a lot of decent candidates out there. Just hope that Luke Akehurst takes the battering he deserves. I've got to give some credit to the agitator as well for this one. There he is on the campaign trail somewhere in Gaza. Talking about that shortly as well. And he's not the only ghoul that Labour are putting up, of course. Another one on the list of hot seats is Ilford North. And that is the current seat of Shadow Health Secretary Wesley Streeting. He has a small majority. He abstained on the ceasefire motion in November. That's in a lot of people's consciousness, as it is in other seats as well. I think a lot of the seats on the hot seat list will have the occupation of Palestine as at least one of the main issues, that's for sure. Right. So Streeting had a bit of an interview today, and it's more cringe, I'm afraid, but this is what we have to do. We have to suffer for our political commentary and analysis.
What meal would you pick if you had to have the same meal every night of the campaign?
Also want to point out this is a general election. This is the mirror This is the Mirror. This isn't, I don't know. This isn't a student interview or some amateur gig. And the level of questioning that they think among people's main concerns when they go to the ballot is ridiculous. I mean, I'm just speaking for myself. I don't know about you guys, but the last time I went into the voting booth, I wasn't thinking, you know what? I wonder what each one of these people would eat if they could only ever eat one meal again for the rest of their life. That's from the Mirror.
What meal would you pick if you had to have the same meal every night of the campaign?
It would need to be something healthy because campaign diets usually result in scurvy. So I think I would just like a nice bowl of vegetables at the end of every day just so I get my vitamins.
What's your favourite cuisine?
Yeah, okay, so here's the truth. Fish and chips. I would have that.
Did the person who was supposed to do the interview sort of, you know, have an accident on the way there or something, and they had to replace them with just literally grab someone off the street? This'll do. Just ask, who's this guy? It's the Shadow Health Secretary. He's West Street and who? And then, okay, we'll write some questions down. Okay, has anyone got a cigarette packet? Yeah. Da da da. Okay, we're running 12 seconds.
Every day of the week, given the choice, but I don't think that's the right public health message.
A curry sauce, you gravy all over it, ketchup?
No, like just salt and vinegar, that's all it takes on fish and chips. None of this curry sauce.
Tea or coffee drinker?
Coffee.
Okay, are you a Marmite lover?
What is this? What is this? He thinks that these are serious answers as well. He's at first, you know, trying to ask him maybe one question in a long length interview about some sort of preference towards one thing or another, to, you know, because the whole thing about electioneering as well as people are supposed to relate on a human level. Can't believe I said that when I'm talking about West Street in here, but this just goes on and on.
Marmite.
Love Marmite. What is your Nando's order?
I'm slightly ashamed to admit, it's like either half a chicken or butterfly chicken with lemon and herb dressing. I'm so sorry, I'm so bland.
Any sides?
He said he'd just have some bloody vegetables a minute ago, and next minute he's on half a chicken. What? And specifically, you know, throwing a specific brand in there. Did they get a bung for this? Did the woman get a bung for this?
Usually chips and coleslaw or chips and tender stem broccoli if I'm feeling more virtuous.
And what's the secret snack to keep you going on the campaign?
Tangfastics, Haribo.
Perfect.
None of that is appropriate for the Shadow Health Secretary, but honesty is the best policy I find.
Oh, piss off, Wesley. Yeah, so hope he loses his majority. I hope he loses his seat. What more can you say? Utter snake. Complete and utter snake. Just gonna have a quick look over the chat. Guys, sorry I've not been paying too much attention to it. Welcome to me, Thrill, as well. It's great to see you here this evening. Keith is just a middle manager in a business supplies office. There's so much, you know, business syntax in all of this from Labour and the Tories. It's true that, you know, so-called business and politics are indistinguishable now. And welcome back to Mr. Pike Bishop as well. Great to see you in the chat. And another reminder, if you're watching on a replay, please do drop us a comment as well. Let us know what you think about the topics that we're going through this evening on the Brews at 10. My left eye, don't forget to hit buttons, subscribe button, thumbs up, notification, etc. And you might like to consider joining the channel for just 99p also. Thanks again to Eddie for those coffees. I need those in the mornings. I have to admit, it's pretty essential. Pretty essential at the moment. So yeah, just back to hot seats for another moment before we move on. And we'll get rid of Wesley. Hopefully, that's part of the concept of hot seats. And speaking of which, we could have another potential new one. Like I mentioned yesterday, out of the 5 seats that are on my early predictions, Birkenhead could be one of the 5. Obviously, thinking that they'll retain Brighton, again Bristol Central at the moment. So this, if Birkenhead does come through, that could be the 3rd. I'm still collating data on that one, but I'm just giving you the latest here on the Brews at 10. And also I'm thinking of sticking the seat that Farage is sitting in as well, Clacton. So yeah, a couple of potentials on the list. Like I said, but I'm still on the lookout for more. So let us know any interesting. You know, a few of these will be marginals, but not in a lot of cases. I'm expecting large majorities to be going in quite a few cases, truth be told, including Farage's in Clacton. So yeah, and all being well, that could be the last we see of Farage for a while. Okay. Got some other stuff to move on to. My goodness, it's been 45 minutes already. Right, we'll quickly get through a few more stories very quickly. So just a reminder before I do, that's the apparent voting intention currently in Birkenhead. Ilford North, Islington North. There's a lot of North on it. Islington North, obviously. Jeremy Corbyn's seat. He's had an endorsement today from someone who's very well known, especially in music and art circles. Brian Eno, who's a great musician, producer, artist, etc., is also a great socialist campaigner as well. Not only does he contribute to a lot of great causes, he also hosts events. There was one in Manchester recently where there were all sorts of things going on. People were holding assemblies, getting to talk about politics. There was a bit of comedy in there. There were shows on. There were great acts on as well. There were comedians, musicians. It was great stuff. It was great stuff over 3 or 4 days. So this is his endorsement for JSC in Islington North.
I support Jeremy Corbyn as an independent candidate for Islington North. The reason I'm doing that is because I think there are very few authentic people in politics now. Very few people who think that person operates from conviction and a kind of selflessness that I see in Jeremy. Unfortunately, I can't vote in Islington North, but if I could, I would certainly be voting for him. I think he's a uniquely popular candidate at a time when politicians are the least popular people of any profession, I think, in the country. One thing I should tell you though, if you want to vote for him, you've got to register by June the 18th. That's the cut-off date. If you don't register by then, you won't get a vote. So please do vote Corbyn.
Yeah, and a bit of kind of ambient long play-esque music in the background as well. That's one of the examples of the kind of work that he does as well. Just having a quick look over the comments as well. For Birkenhead, Mr. Pike Bishop saying that Joe Bird is pumping out leaflets, and over the last month you've had 3 and only 1 generic one from Labour. Is that so? Yeah. There's not going to be anything particularly grabby from the paraphernalia and literature being put out by Labour campaigners. What few they have left, obviously, a lot of the members who have either left or were forced out of the party or prescribed were campaigners as well, and some of the best campaigners in the country, I should say, as well, that they're now having to do without. That could be an important factor. And Meathrill, you're concerned that for many the stance on Gaza will neither be forgotten or forgiven. Well, I hope that it isn't forgotten or forgiven, and I'd love to see the Greens hit 10 seats as well. Actually, yeah, while we're on the subject of Gaza, I'll just quickly show you this clip that I came across earlier. It's from the States, and not sure if you've seen it yourself. A Zionist lady approaches a group of Jewish people forming a protest, and it sort of escalates. She's quite visceral, the lady in question. At one point she tries to grab one of the protesters' phones, and these are Orthodox Jews who are protesting amongst a large crowd as well. And obviously this is something we've seen in the UK as well, with the Jewish bloc. People of all faiths and no faith have been standing up in support of Palestine, of course. But in this particular case, over in the States, just you can sort of see in real time the uploader. It's called Combat, by the way. That's like combat but with an E. Should just point out, quick shout out to them. I believe that the original uploader, if not, please do keep me informed. But they pointed out, you can see as it gets further into the video that a sort of worldview is crumbling, in all of the usual rhetoric you hear from Zionists. Obviously it plays out like a bingo card, you know. Just one by one start to get completely laid into the ground. And when you're a Zionist trying to argue amongst a group of Jewish people, you don't stand a chance, because you know, for so many reasons, Jews are totally against the occupation of Palestine. First of all, the fundamentals of the religion being peace. Also, they're ashamed that Netanyahu and other Zionists are trying to do things in their name and use their religion as a political football to race bait and try to use as an excuse to commit absolute atrocities and collective punishment on over 2 million people. And this is what went down.
Zionism is a political movement which is causing bloodshed. It is a bloodshed. That's where our family is from.
How's the volume level there? Please let me know in the chat if you can. It's coming through a bit loud in my cans. I've turned it down, but if it's just about right, let me know.
From Israel, how can you hold that flag? This is because the actions of the Zionist people, they are responsible. What are you talking about? That's our ancestors. We lived in a beautiful peace. What flag is that? How can you say that? You're a Jew. We lived in a beautiful peace with Palestinian people for hundreds of years. How can you say that? You're not a Jew. You're not a Jew. How dare you? When Zionism came in, they caused their bloodshed. They caused rivers of bloodshed. How can you say that? You're Jewish. How can you shame your own people? Who is a Jew? We're Jews. It's our people. He was against Judaism. We're all Jews here. Right? Yeah, so how are they saying that? Because they believe in God. Jewish, I'm standing it. I don't want that. That's our country. And the Talmud says it's not our country like that. That is our country. How dare you say that about our own people? What's wrong with you? Who calls them Jewish? Fuck you!
Oh, there it is. There it is. You know, when the far right can't handle the truth, just skip it back slightly there. You know, they instantly have to resort to violence.
I don't want that. That's our country. And the Talmud says it's not our country like that. That is our country. How dare you say that about our own people? What's wrong with you? Who calls them Jewish? Fuck This is not the truth. Shame, shame, Israel. Shame on Israel.
Well, she certainly didn't come out of that looking any the better, did she? Mithril, your late father was a vicar, and he was under pressure to lead some parishioners on a pilgrimage to Israel, and he told them no, not until the Palestinian people are free. Wow, that's really fantastic. Yeah, really commendable. And yeah, her voice was making my skin crawl as well, Mr. Pike Bishop, especially the words that she was saying. But always the bad faith acting, always turning violent. But that's just, you know, Zionism is a form of the right wing. Very right, far right. What more can you expect? I'm not sure exactly where that took place. It was in the States though. Apologies, I didn't provide any more accurate geographical location. So, yeah, just quickly want to get into a couple of new questions that might be asking viewers on the run up to the next election, just as we quickly go back to that topic. So a lot has been said over the last few days, and I guess I've been party to it myself, that the Lib Dems might do a bit better than people have been predicting, and I did talk about that a bit more yesterday, how they've been a bit stealthy. I mean, to be honest, with only 11 seats, seeing as they were technically part of a coalition well, they were part of a coalition government for 5 years, but now with just 11 seats, could be making a bit of a comeback. But the overriding question, which could be one of the hot questions here on My Left Eye, is will they become the second party with the Tories in third after the next election? I mean, assuming that Labour come out of it with a victory. There are quite a few things you have to consider in asking yourself this question. Quite a few assumptions, but I said that I thought Lib Dem could get at least 25 seats in the next election. They could go even further than that. However, that might have to coincide with another hot question, which is going to be, will the Tories lose 100 seats or more? Because the current record is minus 91 seats. Gordon Brown, of course, 2010. But could the Tories break that record at the next election? And if so, if the Lib Dems do get enough of a revival in the so-called centre ground, I do have to highlight, I don't believe in centrism, but it's the neoliberals all the way. They are the Liberal Democrats, and liberal in the British sense, after all. So, considering those two things, could it then turn out that you'd have the Lib Dems as the main opposition in England? Will they get more seats than the SNP to become the main opposition, or affect the running order of position in Parliament, I should say? And with the Tories in third now, if that does happen, I think one interesting thing, one small recompense from the outcome of the next election, whatever that may be, but I think we're all pretty much aware of what it's likely to be. That would mean that after years of the Tories jibing across at the SNP, failing to acknowledge the questions, respond to them, the jibes, the back and forth about how insignificant they are, wouldn't it be quite fitting if the SNP ended up with more seats in Parliament than the Tories? Would we go that far? I don't know. So there are a couple of hot questions to ask. Will the Tories lose 100 seats? And will Lib Dem become the main opposition party after the next general election? Let us know your thoughts in the chat or comments as well. On election night itself, I'm going to be collating all of the hot seats, hot questions, etc., things to look out for, to keep an eye on. I'll be going through the exit poll as it happens, as it's revealed on a stream, as well as bringing you multiple streams. There might be a couple of breaks in there. Obviously, it does go on all night, but as the results do come in, catch the key moments and whatnot. Still a few weeks to go till that one, and plenty more Brews to 10, Brews 210, Brews at 10 to come. And we're going to try and fit as many Brews at 10 in during the week as possible, with the Sunday live stream still ongoing, of course. It's great to see you all again, for those of you who joined us last Sunday. Just very quickly before I leave, I do want to give a massive thanks to all of the members on the channel. Thanks a lot for your contributions as well, to those of you who've been to the Buy Me Coffee page as well. And to those who have gifted memberships to other viewers, thanks a lot for your shows of solidarity. I'm much grateful, as always, you wonderful, awesome people. So this is the latest updated members, including those of you who joined us on last night's stream. Great many thanks to you all. And if you'd like to join this list of members, you can do so for just 99p. You're getting early viewings on content, static emojis to use on live streams, etc. Exclusive content. There are some playlists out there as well. And all of the Brews at 10 live streams will be on a playlist as well for anybody who wants to catch up. There's a separate playlist as well for all of the Sunday live streams, as well as other video content, so please do check those out. Okay, so I think I will leave you there, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. I'm going to be popping off to bed soon myself, so I will wish you a very good evening. Thanks again to everybody who's watching, whether it's your first time or whether you're a long-time viewer. Thanks a lot to all the members as well. And I will see you, hopefully, tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Keep an eye out for notifications in the community and on Twitter also. Please do give us a follow at MyLeftEye UK. Good evening, everyone. Hope you have a fantastic day tomorrow. Hope you've enjoyed your Brews at 10. And My Left Eye will be seeing you soon. Good evening. Night night.